Hello, aspirants of HSLC. I'm speaking on the syllabus, the revised syllabus of mathematics for class 10 for the academic session of 2020. All right, and that would be for your general mathematics HSLC examination. Here you will see that your units have been revised but not completely left out. You would have only one unit which is left out that you will know in a while, and you will see that everything remains the same. Your class 10 total theory marks is 90 marks, your internal assessment is 10 marks, and your time limit for the exam is 3 hours with pass mark 30 marks, and your pass mark for your internal assessment is 27, which means that for your theory is 27, and for your internal assessment it should be 3, because 27 plus 3 would be equal to your 30 marks right here. So moving on, we look at the new chapter that has been introduced from this year, and that is the revision chapter. That unit is included. You need to study this unit because no units have been admitted, nil units have been admitted, and your mark allotment is 6 marks. Moving on, you have the first chapter, real number. You need to study up to unit 1.4. What does that mean? It means that whatever is written within those units up to 1.4, that is 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and 1.4, and there you would have some examples, some explanations, some exemplary explanation which you would need to read between the lines and know that up to 1.4 questions may come from there, and also questions may come from any exercises up to 1.3. Remaining exercises have been stated here that unit 1.5 onwards you need to exclude, and any exercise that is beyond 1.3 you need not study them, and your mark weightage would be 5 marks. Moving on to polynomials, it is the whole chapter, nothing is left out, so we need to just understand that it is 8 marks that you would need to study. Now, linear equations in 2 variables, which is your third chapter, you need to study up to unit 3.4.3, which means that anything included in those units, the examples and all that, would need to be studied, and your exercise would cover only up to exercise 3.3. You need to study those exercises. It is very important for you to understand that 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, and 3.4 and 3.5 are the exercises that have been included. Then you have the quadratic equation, an important chapter. It is up to unit 4.4 and everything within those units, and the exercise would be only up to unit 4.3, and the unit 4.5 onwards would have to be left out, and any exercise beyond exercise 4.3 will be left out, and that would carry for you 6 marks, and the previous one, linear equation, would carry 7 marks. So now we move to the fifth one, which is arithmetic progressions. In arithmetic progression, you would have to study up to unit 5.3. There you would see examples again, and any written things that are mathematical, you would need to study those, but then you have only exercise 5.1 and 5.2 as your exercises that you would need to study. So unit 5.4 onwards has been left out, and it carries a weightage of 6 marks. Then moving on again, we have, after arithmetic progression, triangles. It is rather a very vast chapter, and then you would see here that it has been suggested that you study only up to unit 6.4, including everything within that, and then your exercises would be only up to exercise 6.3, which means that anything beyond that is not needed, and unit 6.5 onwards, 6.5, 6.6 and so on, has been left out, and it carries 6 marks. If you move on to coordinate geometry up to unit 7.3, exercise only 7.1 and 7.2, unit 7.4 onwards has been left out, and you have a mark weightage of 7 marks. Then you have introduction to trigonometry. You have unit 8.1, 8.2, 8.3 and 8.5. Be careful with this. 8.1, 0.2, 0.3 and 8.5, which means that is exercises also that you need to use is exercises 8.1, 8.2 and 8.4. 8.4. The unit the 8.3 exercise has been left out, so you need to use exercises 8.1, 8.2 and 8.4. That is, unit 8.4 has been left out and exercise 8.3 has been left out. So you have to be careful with that. You have 7 marks to deal with, which is a good score. And moving on, you would see that you have another page where you look at, and that is unit 9. You would see that unit 9 has been left out, and you don't need to study anything on unit 9, which is the unit that talks about some applications to trigonometry. Units that you require to study is nil. The units that have been left out completely is the whole chapter, so that is why there is no marks allotted for that section. If you move on, you will have circles, a small chapter, and here you need to study the whole chapter, so nothing has been left out and it carries 6 marks, which is of advantage to you. Then constructions up to unit 11.2 and everything within up to 11.2, but then your exercise is only 11.1, which means that any units dealing with 11.3 onwards is out, and you have only 4 marks to deal with. Then you have areas related to circles, study up to unit 12.3, and exercises is only 12.1 and 12.2. So unit 12.4 is left out. You don't need to study that, okay? And it carries 6 marks. Then surface areas and volume. And in this solid geometry, you have to study only up to unit 13.3, and you have only 2 exercises, 13.1 and 13.2. And unit would be unit 14.5 onwards. This is out. Unit 0.5 onwards, and it carries 5 marks. So this would be helpful for you. Now let's look at statistics. Up to unit 14.4 you have to study. Exercise up to 14.3. What has been left out is unit 14.5 onwards. So only up to exercise 14.3, and this will carry for you 5 marks. Then after that you come to the last part, which is probability. It is the whole chapter, an easy chapter. Nil units have been left out of subunits, and it carries 5 marks. So once again, you see your theory is 90, your practical is 10, and you get 100 marks for this whole mathematics subject. Chapter 9 is totally excluded. It's totally excluded from the syllabus for the academic session 2020 only. Care should be taken on that. So with that, I wish you all the best for your preparation, and if there's any doubt, please drop in a comment in YouTube or ask through your comments in YouTube what I need to do. Thank you so much.